Listen, I don't know how I became the hot rod builder that puts American V8s in Japanese cars and wide bodies them, but I'll be honest with you, I'm okay with it. This one is coming out very, very nice, and this one is just beautiful. Jeez.
Now that's a lot of damage!
What's up? We are back on the V8 swapped Toyota AE86. If you haven't been following this build, you should be. Woo! We put a 5.0 V8 Ford engine in a 1986 Toyota Corolla rear-wheel drive AE86. These are a rare little rear-wheel drive car. They did not make a lot of them. I found out how rare they were as I've been looking for parts, and I wasn't going to do a video on this today because I'm still waiting on new steering parts, but the lowrider van, I had to order some brake parts. If you didn't watch that video, I pushed the brake and there was no shoes on one of the rear axles, so it just dumped literally all of my brake fluid out. Never had any problem with it before, couldn't figure it out. Somebody commented, yeah, you never had a problem before because you never slammed on the brakes so hard whenever you were wrecking it and you blew it out. I said, that's a great point. That's probably what happened. So, waiting on parts for that. The old man's coming in here to block sand on the CRX. I'm going to let him do that. I'm going to set up the camera, though, because he's horrible with the camera. We're also going to do a video on the Model A, but I had to get some more metal, so we're going to wait on that. And I'm like, what are we going to work on? We can work on the vet. We can bring the Cutlass back in. Sure enough, the wide body kit showed up, baby. I ordered this thing over a month ago. Wide body for the Toyota. Don't know if it fits. Don't know if it's too wide. Don't know if we need to figure out something with our spacers or new wheels. I have no idea. It just came here. I kind of just sat it up there for a second to see how it looked. I already know I'm going to have to take this front bumper off because we have a new front bumper and we're going to have to cut the living hell out of this fender. These are over fenders. Now, whenever we did it on the Honda CRX, I molded them all in. I wanted to do that because it just looks a little cleaner. We are not doing that on the Toyota. These are going to be bolted on. That way if we have any issues, you just unbolt them because got a crack in the Honda. Normally, wouldn't be that big of a deal. Pop the wide body off, fix it. She's molded in for good, so we're going to have to fix that as is. Now, how did I crack the Honda? We might have pushed a car into it while it was sitting here. We're not going to be doing that because we're getting ready to paint it. We got to, we're going to get the kid gloves out, as Dad would say. Be very gentle around it. Or I'm going to send it to Robbie Layton and make him paint it. That's also an option. I don't know. Either way, we're going to dig right in. Let's start getting this front bumper off. I have no idea how to take it off. We're going to find out together. Okay, apparently Toyota front bumpers, at least on an AE86, has 60 bolts in it. There's 15 across there, 10 across there, 2 across there, 4 across. It's just a mess. But I think I got the rubber part off. Maybe I don't, because it's not moving. Uh-oh. Hey! I most likely need to reuse that for the aftermarket bumper. And we're not done. Still gonna take these off. And I don't know what holds them on. They're on there with clips and bolts, and half of the bolts have broke. I take that back. 90% of the bolts have broke. Some people got mad when I did this car. They said, how could you ruin a rare Toyota AE86? I can't find them. I've been looking for decades. The reason is because this car was, I think, $2,000. It was a piece of shit. It's got rust everywhere. It was bad. Engine had a hole in it the size of a baseball. That's why we are doing this, because it was very cheap. Now, I will say, they make a hatchback that is rare as hell. I like those. The reason I bought the coupe was because the hatchbacks go for literally 2 to 3 times the money. They're just stupid expensive. But there's a guy with a wrecked hatch I'm trying to buy right now. I've been trying to buy it for a month. He's kind of a weird seller, one of those guys who wants to sell it but doesn't want to sell it. And it's smoked in the front, but if we can buy it, I think we do a hatchback conversion on this thing. That would be the shit. It would normally be easier to just build the hatch instead of the coupe, but We got a roll cage, we already got our motor. We've essentially built the frame because I made everything from the bottom. So it'd probably be easier to do the hatch, but I don't know, we'll see. I've been trying to buy it for a damn month, so don't hold your breath on it, but boy, I would love to. Let's keep going. Okay, this does not go on like a stock bumper. I should have just looked at it. You can tell it's up higher, so it's that whole piece. Where did I put the other pieces? I lost them. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Don't lose anything on this car because everything is worth $1 million. Oh, shit. Did I actually lose them? Oh, no. Hey, didn't lose them. Okay. So, these are the bottom of the front fenders. Actually, I just realized I cut these. These probably are worthless. Well, either way. The bumper obviously takes this whole spot up. It goes up here to the turn signals. And it actually does not use that bumper reinforcement. It will not fit because your grill is going to be right there now. Now, here's the problem. This is completely unbolted. All of the bolts are out. Will not come off. I jacked it up. I had the entire weight of the car on that bumper. Would not come off. So I'm looking. I'm trying to see, is there a weld I missed? There is a bolt right there that is actually loose. It's off on the bottom, but it is rusted solid right along here. I took a chisel and was hitting it in there, couldn't even get it to break loose. So this is just bonded together. I can't turn this, it's rusted solid. There's a little stopper at the top of it, so you can only turn it a little bit. You know, that way you can just drop it from the bottom and then run a bolt up. Can't turn it, doesn't want to do anything. Same thing on both sides. So, I am gonna cut it. Now, I don't see any other way. I think if I cut this section out, then I can kind of twist it and pry on it, and maybe it'll break loose. Worst come to worst, I can run a Sawzall, maybe right along in there and get it out. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's any way I can reuse this, but boy, if I end up needing to, I'm going to be pissed if I cut it, but there's just no way it's going to go on this. There's no way. My grill is, or that second line right there goes right where that is. So I think we're good to cut it either way. But in 20 minutes, if I'm bitching that I cut it, just know that I knew it was a dumb idea at the time as well, but I'm kind of out of other ideas. So let's go. Before we keep going, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Factor Meals. If you don't know what Factor Meals are, they are fresh meals sent directly to your house. Some of you have noticed, I've got a couple comments. They say, Casey, you look like you're losing some weight. I am down almost 40 pounds. I'm not going to say that is all because of Factor. You work 100 hours a week like I do. It's so easy to go get fast food on the way home, to get something at the gas station. Meal prep has been the key for me. Factor reached out. I've been wanting to try their stuff forever. I love it. It's so good. I'm actually hungry right now. We're gonna go up to my dad's house and try some this second. Woo, it's getting me excited. The old man's in the other room. He's gonna come in here and steal it, I can already tell. This smells amazing. Oh yeah. Give it a shot. My code gets you 50% off. Already ready to go in the package. Easy peasy. Dad, come here and try this.
A roasted tomato?
Yeah. Another one of these.
Got the green beans.
Green beans are real good too, crispy. I'm telling you, man, I know I wasn't even joking.
That's pretty good.
I wasn't making it up. Dad's like, this stuff's great. He takes 2 of the tortellini packets they sent me, so now I gotta order more from Factor, which I'm okay with. I am a big fan. I am a subscriber. I love their meals. I think you will too. Give them a shot if you want to. It's factor75.com. Use code 50KCC at checkout. You will get 50% off everything on the website and free shipping. Thank you very much to Factor for sponsoring the video. We are gonna get back to work. I build a lot of old high rods, rat rods. If you watch the channel, all you know. I am much more comfortable on a 1950 Chevy than I am a 1988 Honda CRX. With saying that, this is the rustiest thing I've ever seen as far as joining together. The bolt is loose. The bolt is out. There's nothing there. I already got this side off. It ripped itself out. It is rusted solid in there. It needs to slide this way. It won't slide that way. Jeez. Finally. Holy crap. Oh my God. That sucks. sucked so bad. I beat on it so much it pulled it out. That's 1/4-inch plate. It bubbled it out. Man, it just would not move because everything was solid. Take the front bolts out and then it slides forward. Couldn't get it to slide forward. I mean, I put the jack in this way. Huh. What a pain in the ass. Okay, I didn't think I was gonna spend the whole night dealing with the front bumper, but here we are. Let's see if this one fits at all. All right, good news. Didn't realize it at the time, but you reuse the bumper reinforcement plate bolts. So it's actually bolted on, which is pretty big. Now, this is not the best fiberglass. I wanted my boys at Mosey, I don't know how you say it, M-O-Z-Y. I wanted them to make a kit. They do not make a AE86 kit. They were going to make one from scratch. They were going to have to scan one and do all kinds of stuff. So I just bought an eBay kit. And I'll be honest with you, the fiberglass is probably 1/3 as thick as it is on that one. But that's okay. No big deal. This build is not the same quality as this build. This is like a fun, low buck-ish, rat roddy kind of just fun car. We're going to beat the living shit out of it. The rear end's going to blow up the first time I do a burnout because that rear end's good for about 150, 200 horsepower. That's 350, 400. I mean, it's just going to pop like that. So we'll put a new rear end in it, but we're not worrying about that right now. Bumper is in. Did not think it was going to take this much time. Also, I looked at it and I'm like, great. It's warped. It's a piece of shit. And I was like, oh no, it's a wide body. We're good. The fender comes all the way out here. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm almost certain these wheels are not going to be enough. I have new hubs coming and a whole new brake kit at some point that will push out about as much as those spacers are. So that's why I bought the exact spacer. I think it was 1.5 inches. But once we get our hubs, we might have to actually go to like a 1-inch spacer because I think it's going to have to come out. I haven't put it up there just yet, but that's a big wide body. I love it. Very happy. We could also run new wheels at a different time, but either way, the reason I got these, they're Ford bolt patterns. So whenever we put a Ford rear end in it, they'll bolt right up. And then they make hubs. You can get the hubs about in any bolt pattern you want, but they make them in a Ford pattern. Sweet. That thing looks awesome. Was not planning on spending the whole day dealing with this, but here we are. And it looks so good. Oh my God, I'm stoked. We'll be back tomorrow, baby.
The next day.
You know, we don't do anything half-ass around here. If we're going crazy, you know, we're going crazy. But I will say, when I ordered this wide body kit, I didn't know it was this wide. I put this bumper on and thought the bumper was warped. I was like, oh, this must be warped. No, that's how much the fender comes out. I thought it was 3 inches. It's looking more like 6. So she's going to be one hell of a wide body. The good news is it's going to be fun, but we definitely got some work ahead of us. We're back, baby. I spent the whole day down at Pole Barn Garages. Me and Dalton were hanging out. I made another financial mistake. Please like the video, for God's sakes. The good news is it wasn't a very expensive mistake, but I bought a 1981 square body Suburban. It's probably the nicest interior I've ever seen. 100K miles something, very low miles. Here with Pole Barn Garage.
Cough, please.
Ooh, yeah, he's really digging in it. Okay, there you go. You got to lift. You got to lift and then cough. You have to lift. It's something about the testicle. Better?
It's terminal.
It's cancer. Shit. I just made a financial mistake. Let's take a look at it together. Okay, let's go. He did a whole video on it. It's probably out by the time this one's coming out. And then he might have blown the motor up. I think he might have just messed up a cam, but she's talking. She's got some noise. It's a clanking and a banging. I bought it because he's only an hour away and I like old shit. We just did the Blazer giveaway. I'm like, we do another Blazer type deal. Fix a little bit of rust, put a nice paint job on it. The interior is so nice. But we got to get it running first. So expect that on the channel pretty soon. The good news is, back on the Toyota, I was going to start throwing the fender on there. I already know I still have to cut more off the rear of the fender because my tires hit when I turn. So I should be okay with the front now that it's sticking out more. I was going to have to cut more of the front bumper, but I didn't want to do anything until we got this aftermarket one on. But I know for a fact this rear probably needs to come all the way down to there. So I said all that to say, let's cut some shit. And I bought something stupid again. Let's go. Well, we need to get the front bumper mounted to the fenders before we can put the new fenders on. At least it's going to be easier to do it now before the other fender's on. So, I got to whip up some quick mounts, get these brackets on here. This is going to bolt to the fender, and then this will bolt to the bumper. And I was going to weld it, but I think I need to have adjustments so I can make sure it fits good. So, we got to do that, and then we can finally put the fender on. So most of the, like tuner guys that build these cars with wide bodies, they use a lot of glue, a lot of plastic, screw stuff in. I'm an idiot who builds hot rods, so I'm making it out of 1/4-inch plate. It's the way I know how to do it. I know it's going to be strong enough, but it's probably way too overkill. But here we are. I mean, that's essentially like a frame mount or a motor mount, and it's for a 7-pound fiberglass bumper. Check out this bumper mount. Ha ha! Sweet. Now the only thing I'm worried about is how big our wheels are. So we might have to trim some of that. I'm not going to do that yet. What I want to do is get one side done, and then I can figure out, whatever I mess up on this side, that'll save me from doing it on that side as well. Like I already know whenever we go over there, how much of the fender I have to cut, the mount I need to make. Obviously I need to make another mount for that side, but it's the middle of the night. I think I'm done for today. Tomorrow, we're going to come in here, and I already know I have to cut some of the back of that and then some of the front of that because I was holding the quarter panel flare up, and it's already hitting in some spots. Also, one thing I'm worried about is how much this cuts back in. It would be much better if that went, straight like that. It cuts way back in, and we got a pretty big wheel on here, so that might end up biting me in the ass. I'm not sure. We're going to find out for sure. And then another problem is they do not make a wide body kit for a coupe. They only make them for hatchbacks. So this is a hatchback setup. The quarter panels look almost identical, but I'm sure there's going to be something that's not the exact same, or they wouldn't have called it, hatchback only. So we're going to figure that out too. And I just don't really want to dig into that yet. I already know my side skirts are going to need some metal put in because they screw right there like that. And I have enough to put a couple screws in it, which is probably what I'll do for now. But at some point, she's going to need rockers. I'm not just going to cover that. That would be pretty shitty, but I don't know. I want to still get them up there temporarily, but I don't want to screw this in until that piece is in first, because I want to make sure I know exactly where it needs to be in case I need to trim it, in case I need to do whatever. Also, as I'm looking at this, that edge looks like it curves in more than that door does. Even though coupes and hatches use the same front doors, that looks... Is that just me, or does that have more curve than that door? That door goes straight down, and this comes in a bunch, so that might be a whoopsie-daisy. That's another thing you run into whenever you buy cheaper kits. They don't fit very well. We really had to fight the front bumper and fender to get it fitting good. I'm tired, and I'm already itchy. I hate fiberglass, which is crazy because we have so much fiberglass shit around here lately. Stupid freaking... God, I love you so much. Look at them freaking wheels. We'll be back tomorrow. I want to get this kit on by the end of the video. At the very least, I want one side really, really nice done, and then progress on the other side. But I think tomorrow I should be able to get the rest of it buttoned up. So we'll be back, baby.
The next day.
All right, I got her jacked up. We are back. I went ahead and started pulling this off because I don't think I need it. And there's more rust. We knew that was coming. That's okay. I'm gonna take this off and then we're gonna cut some shit. Let's just get right into it, baby. Okay, got it on. Doesn't fit great. It should be lower down there, I'm almost certain. So we might end up cutting this thing up. Also, the bumper part I took off, it apparently uses. It likes that little bumper because the body lines are the same, but it doesn't match the stock bumper. But in all the pictures I see, that's the bumper that they have. So I don't know. I'm going to take that bumper off just in case so I can fit up the rest of the quarter panel and then maybe refit it. I don't know. But I'm going to take that bumper off and we'll see what the hell we can come up with. Because right now, this is not even close. It's way off. So yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling we're going to be doing a little cut there, a little pull there, a little pull there, and just making a lot of shit work if we have to. I'm still going to make sure everything bolts on, but this whole piece might be like one big piece. I don't know. Let's keep going. Okay, this fits about as bad as it could. This little piece here, this isn't bad at all, but it's attached. So it looks like we definitely need a different rear bumper. I just checked online and they all kind of look like that one, but there's a painted bumper, which obviously that would be easier because this is rubber. That sucks. I hate that. I could cut that off, make it work. I think I'm just gonna put a button in that, buy a different bumper, and then we'll figure something out. At the very least, even if it's the same style bumper, but painted like actual fiberglass, I can mold this in. I'm just gonna have to trim the shit out of it because it does not fit at all, but I like the way it wraps around like that. So we got to get a different rear bumper. All that is fitting pretty damn good, really. The side skirt's way off. I mean, 2 inches off. And I'm like, maybe something needs to slide back, but everything is perfect. My gas door opening is perfect. Wheels centered. I'm like, yeah, sometimes these kits are just, cut to fit type shit. I don't know if that's actually true, but that's what we're going to keep doing. So I'm going to cut the living hell out of either the quarter panel or the side skirt. Probably the quarter panel, actually. We'll get it on there, and then we'll put the wheel on this side and see how she looks. Let's go. It looks so good. Look at how much I had to cut to make that fit. And I did some Googling, checking measurements. The hatch is only different from the top. None of this is different on the hatch. So that is just how badly fitting these are. What you run into with kind of one-fits-all type shit. But we got it fixed. I'm obviously going to have to fiberglass that, but I put a big piece of sheet metal behind it, pulled it down. Whenever I had it on there, I knew something was off because if I went lower, that line didn't match. And then if I went lower, the gas door opening didn't match, but the bottom of the quarter panel was above the door. I couldn't open the door. So I was like, something's going on. Well, then I finally figured it out. It's not long enough on this end, but it is on that end. Just weird as shit. And then it matches perfectly now across the bottom whenever I made that go down. Just know what you're getting into when you do body kit stuff. Didn't have to do any of that on the Muzi kit, but they don't make one for a Toyota, and they should, damn it. That looks pretty bitchin'. Tire's closer than I thought, but she's still gonna have to come out a little bit. What I'm gonna do now is put the front wheel on. I was gonna put it on the ground, but I think I'm gonna just get right into doing the other side. I learned a lot on this side, so hopefully that side will be a little bit easier. But before I put this wheel on, I do wanna get my brakes all done. I have brand new brakes, brand new everything, brand new lines. So I want to get that all on there so that hopefully I don't have to take that wheel off again, at least until I don't know, get a different spacer, change the hub, do all that bullshit. So let's do that real quick. Front brakes are done, wheels on. It's obviously hitting the front of that, but that is because I don't have any weight on the axle. I still think I'm gonna have to trim it, but I won't know until it's on the ground. I could put the jack underneath the front end, but on this, it's kind of wonky. So we're gonna go do the other side, then we'll lay it on the ground, cut that shit, and we will have a body kit that is on the car. Also, front brakes are done, which is huge. Very happy about that. Let's do all of this on that side now. Yay! Got the driver's side done. We learned a lot from the passenger side. Just basically how to make the bracket, where the bracket needed to go. Make sure that I have adjustment in the bracket. Don't screw everything on where you think it is. Make sure it's perfect, because we kind of found that out. These actually flex a little bit, which you'd think is great, but that's actually bad, because if you start, you know, your bolts over here, by the time you get the front to line up, it can kind of just be doing this all the way across. So get the two ends and then work your way up. At least that's how I did it. Let's get on the back. I got not very much room over here, I'm finding out. Now, I did realize I don't need to take that rear bumper off, so that's going to help. I wasted a lot of time on the other side on that one. Also, we don't have a gas door to worry about. So let's see what happens. Quarter panel flare is on, and just like I expected, this side is perfect. That just goes to show you how wonky these kits can be. I was okay with needing to cut it, but I was like, there's no way both sides are bad. Usually whenever it's fiberglass, everything is its own mold. So every piece is its own piece. So if they had both of them messed up, I was going to start worrying. Maybe something's wrong. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it flexed in a weird way. No, this one's basically perfect. I had to trim a little bit right there, but this one went on 10 times easier than the other side. And I didn't have to cut it and add an inch at the bottom. And not only that, my lower line, whatever you want to call that, the skirt line, is matching up perfect front to back. So this needs trimmed, just like the other side did. It's about an inch too long, so we're going to do some tweaking on that, and then basically she's on. Good news is I got my new steering rack and all of my steering parts. If you didn't watch the last episode, this was ass backwards. Well, check this out. I am turning to the left. The car is turning to the right. I am turning to the right. The car is turning to the left. Look at this. Turning to the left. Turning to the right. I bought it from a Toyota MR2. Everybody on the AE86 page, it's been done a lot. So there was straightforward instructions. Buy an 85 to 89 MR2 steering rack. It'll basically bolt right up. Everything is perfect. I bought one, and I knew something was off because it was a little bit long. We had to cut it down, shorten a couple things. And that should have been my tip off right then, but I just assumed maybe there's different measurements, whatever. Got it on here, started steering it. It's ass backwards. So I look up, I have to do a bunch of digging. I asked a bunch of people on the Toyota pages. Nobody knew what was going on. They all said the same thing I said. It's got to be a right-hand drive, where it's reversed. You'd have your steering wheel over here or something. And then I ended up finding out in 1990, Toyota MR2s, they went to a front steer. And what that is your knuckles back here in the back, where it hooks to your tie rod, is what steers everything. This is a rear knuckle. So it pulls it instead of pushes it. And in 1990, 90 to 95, Toyota MR2s went to a front knuckle. So it's essentially doing it the other way. It will push itself this way instead of pulling it. So the guy I bought mine from, he listed it wrong. It was an eBay guy. He didn't know. No big deal. Not the end of the world. But I was scratching my head like hell because I'm going, I know I bought the right one. I bought a 1986. You know, you got to... Ran some codes on there, some serial numbers, and then sure enough, that's what it was. And the upsetting thing is they look the exact same. So nothing you can do. Here's the fun part. I go to find an 85 to 89 steering rack. There's none. There's one on eBay that's used. It needs basically completely rebuilt. Needs new inner tie rods, new outer tie rods. It's $500, and then you're going to have $200 on the tie rods. So I was like, okay, so now we're at $700. Screw it. Let's just buy, you know, the rebuilt ones. There's companies out there that rebuild them professionally for the Toyota. It'll bolt in. Everything is great. They're $1,000 or $800. I was like, God, I don't want to spend that, but let's just do it. I go to order those from 2 different places. Guess what? They're out of stock. They can't even find any of them to rebuild. They can get a right-hand drive one. That's the only one I could find on the website. And I was going, well, that's not going to do any good. So, scratching my head, I'm going, it's time to do the hot rod thing. Let's put a Mustang 2 rack in it like we did on this. But all that is front steer. And the problem with a Ford is your oil pan is in the front instead of the rear. And I had to do that for this because of the rear crossmember. So I'm just, couldn't come up with anything. Started doing some researching. 1992 Honda Civic, manual rack, rear steer. It's damn near the same length. It's a little bit longer, but we can do some cutting and some fitting. And everything is perfect. It's small. It's manual. Obviously, the mounts are completely different. We're going to have to make our own mounts. And what's cool with this, it was $120 brand new. Came with brand new tie rods. It has brand new inners. Like, all this is just solid and perfect. This one I bought. Look at this shit. I mean, it would have worked, but it was going to be sloppy. This is brand new, perfect, really, really good. And then I even bought aftermarket tie rods. These are big old beefy boys, and they go up from the bottom. You can actually run these either way, from the bottom or the top. I'm going to run them underneath. And then these are extra strong, and these are steel. So we got to cut them down a little bit to make them fit. But since it's steel and not cast steel like the other ones were, we can weld them pretty easily. So I don't know if we're going to tackle all that tonight. We might. Who knows? This side's going on pretty damn easy. But it looks like I've been rambling for 5 minutes. So let's cut some shit. All right, rockers on. I got a little too cocky. I was talking about how perfect this fit, and then I put the wheel on, and the wheel well on this one, they both curve back in. So instead of doing like a semicircle, they do like a 3/4 circle, and couldn't even get the tire on. It just wasn't even close. So ended up taking an inch out of there and then scooting that in. So now my radius actually matches the wheel a little bit better. One thing I am worried about, I feel like now, you know, the car's not on the ground. I have the front end still jacked up. So that's probably a lot of it because I have the jacks kind of in the middle. I did that in case I wanted to mess with the steering. But I feel like that's pretty damn high. And I don't like that. So do we need to go lower? I don't know. Not making any, you know, I'm not making any decisions until she's on the ground. But that's way too high for me. So we're going to wait. What I'm going to do, since I got a little more time, and it's already jacked up, I'm going to cut the living shit out of these tie rods that I paid way too much money for. Actually, they weren't that bad. I think they were like 120 or something. But yeah, let's cut some shit while we're still here, weld some shit, and then it's just, I don't think I'll get it done, but let's see what it's even going to take to get a Honda Civic steering rack in a damn Toyota. Yeah. I got the, where is it? Uh-oh. Already lost the one part I needed. That's not a good... Hey, never mind. We're okay. This shop is a shithole. I had a brain fart whenever I was ordering all these parts. I go, you know what I should do? Make sure I get a Honda Civic steering joint because probably won't match the Toyota, and sure enough, it doesn't. So we're going to have to get creative there. I should be able to take this U-joint out and swap it with one of the Toyota ones, but if I have to, I can cut this end off and weld the Toyota end on there so it'll match with my steering shaft. But that's down the line problems. Let's cut up a tie rod. The trickiest thing when welding tie rod ends or anything with a ball joint is you can cook the grease right out of it. So we got to go in here real hot, real fast, and then cool it down. It's not the best for your welds. Your welds are stronger whenever they, you know, cool naturally, but I can't cook these. If I could take it out, I would, but I can't. Sweet. I'm going to take my time welding these. Don't want to cook them, but that's going to work perfect. All right. Got them welded up, got everything trimmed down. I measured it the other day whenever I was doing all my stuff. It was 45 inches. We are right at 44 and a half, and I have it adjusted all the way in, so I can go out like 2 inches. I got plenty of adjustment in it. I don't think I can get it mounted today, but I am going to try and get it up under there because right now both of my wheels just do whatever they want. And then we're done. I said earlier, it was so cute. I always say cute stuff. I have extra time. This is only going to take a minute. That was 2 hours ago, and now Richard's bitching at me. Where's the video? I want the video. We need to get moving. Let's go. Holy shit, that looks amazing. Had to cut the front bumper, but that's easy. We'll glue that back on with some fiberglass. You know what? I said it needed to go lower. It's basically perfect. It's only about an inch above. It kind of has like a, almost like a track car look to it. I will say I wish they were a little bit wider. We need to go, actually, the front's perfect. Rear needs to go out a lot. These were very big flares in the rear. Yeah, we got to get a tape measure real quick. But damn, I'm so friggin' happy. I love it. Also, I had people commenting. They said, Casey, how much Monster do you drink? Because the beautiful people at Monster sent me 15 24-packs and then this badass cooler. Not an ad. I just told them I liked Monster, and they hooked it up. I said, I'm going to put Diet Coke in there. Is that cool? They said, that's fine. We don't care. And that's like the coolest freaking cooler I've ever seen with the lit up M. Anyways, got a tape measure. Let's see how much these need to come out. I am happy that it's not the front. It's just the rear. Oh, this is hard to do one-handed. Nope, there we go. At least 2 inches. So about a pecker length. That's what my grandpa would say. 2 inches, about 1.5 pecker lengths. So we need to get those adapters. The good news is the rear's easy because we're going to be doing a new rear end. Most likely the first drive, we're going to have to change the rear end. I've known that going in, so no big deal. Love the back. We got to order a new rear bumper, a fiberglass one that we can paint. We also need to order the right type of turn signals. I don't know if this is a custom bumper or it's a whatever. There's so many of these different AE86s. There's like 5 different models. I don't know if it's like a stock style model turn signal or whatever in the hell that is. And then I think it takes a grill as well. And then my factory piece will go right in there where my other grill is, or the stock grill, whatever you want to call it. But for a hot rod guy, we got a lot of Japanese wide bodies laying around here, but at least we put some hot rod flair in them. Very happy with how much stuff we got done. I absolutely love it. I mean, also it's fun building this one like a rat rod. I know it's not a rat rod. It's a 1986. But just rat rod flair. We're not going crazy. We're not just gonna... We might paint it, but we're not spending a month on metal work. We're not spending 3 months on body work like we're gonna do on this damn thing. Just kind of like almost like a drift car. Just beat the living hell out of it. Have some fun. Blow the rear end up, most likely. I have a couple brake parts I'm still waiting on. Whenever those come in, I can finish up the steering. I'm going to have to remake all that. I got the rack up in there. It's not even close to being where it was. It was binding. I had to actually pull it off because the wheels wouldn't even come down all the way. The suspension wouldn't. So we're going to have to do some cutting to make that work. But I was going to buy the $1,000 steering rack, even though that's not my style. I was like, screw it. This is too hard. Couldn't even find the $1,000 one. So now we're making, you know, whatever we have is going to work. Giveaway for the 1929 Model A is live right now. Go to Caseyscustoms.com, buy a sticker. It's also in the description of this video. It's linked to this video. We're going to be doing a video on it next, so we're going to probably see it done. The snow has finally melted. We got 20 inches here in St. Joe, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and finally it's melted enough we can do a drive. So really, really happy to take that one out. Thank you to the people at Monster. Thank you very much to Factor. If you guys want to try Factor Foods, use my discount code, get 50% off and free shipping. It's really good stuff. I'm a big fan. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video. If you aren't subscribed, please hit that button now. Please like, share, comment, all the good shit they tell you at the end of videos, and check out some more of my other videos. Caseyscustoms.com for the coolest merchandise on the planet. Peace! I love ya. If you're here from Pole Barn Garage's video and you got all the way to the end, the Suburban will be on the channel very soon. Love you too. Bye.